everybody, I'm TJ, this is Baby Star, and welcome back to part 4 of this video about our egg donor journey. If you missed parts 1, 2 or 3, don't worry about it, you can go back and see them from the beginning. I'll put a link up here to part 1 of this video and I'll also put it in the description box. So basically, it's the 9th of April, it's the big day where they're about to put this embryo into my womb. I'm in the transfer room, I'm in my surgical gown, and I've got to tell you, it went so differently than the last time I went through this. So many of you may have seen my previous video I made about my first IVF attempt that I did with my own eggs. If you haven't seen that, you can see a link to that video right here. And that time, it was very clinical. They were all chatting while it was happening. I didn't even know when it happened. I basically missed when they put the embryo in because I just made no big deal of it at all. Whereas this time, they were really lovely and kind and everything happened slowly and they talked me through it all. And it was a really, really beautiful experience. It was quite healing actually compared to what had happened the last time. I'm really grateful. So basically, my doctor told me that the embryo they were about to put in my womb was the size of a full stop. In America, you call it a period. In 10-point font, a tiny little dot. And so from that moment on, I told everybody that they put a little dot into my tummy. And through my whole pregnancy, she was called by everybody, all my friends, my baby village, everything, they called her the little dot. We always called you the little dot. I carried the little dot in my tummy for 9 months. That's you, the little dot. I called her the little dot so much that I actually nearly gave her the name of Dorothy, because also my grandmother's name was Dorothy, so she nearly was Dorothy, but in the end she wasn't Dorothy, but still one of her nicknames is the little dot, because they put this 10-point font dot into my tummy on this day, 9th of April 2021. So basically they had a TV screen in the room, and through the TV screen I could actually see what they were doing to the embryo as they took it out of its petri dish, got it ready for the transfer, and on that screen they blew it up really big so I could really see the embryo. And then I could see on the ultrasound screen next to me, I could actually watch as he put the embryo into my womb. I could actually see it on the screen. And I saw the moment when the embryo jumped in to my uterine lining. It was like a little lightning bolt. That was you jumping into my uterus. That was you jumping into my uterus. I actually saw it. I saw you like a little lightning bolt. And the doctor was very happy because he said he got it into the exact right spot on my uterus that he'd been aiming for. So everything was looking good. And I couldn't believe it. The embryo was now inside me. You were now inside me. Click a thumbs up on the like button if you're finding this story inspiring, because that will encourage YouTube to actually show it to other women like you who are interested in this stuff. So I really just basically floated out of the clinic. I was so happy. I was so in awe. I felt so much wonder that there was now this little being inside my body that had been created in America from this egg and this sperm and had flown across the world. It was now inside me. I was so excited. I really felt that something magical had happened. I really could feel that this magical person was inside me. And I really didn't feel like driving an hour home through the freeway and all the traffic. So instead what I did was I went to a little river that was nearby and I just stood and looked at the water. I filmed a short little video for my friends and put it up on my baby village to tell them that it was done. They'd all been sending me love all day. And then I actually decided to do something interesting. I went and saw a movie at a cinema near where I was, near that river, and I saw a children's movie. I just wanted to see something really innocent. I wanted her first day in my body to be really, really innocent. And so I saw a movie called Raya and the Last Dragon. It's a movie that's all about trust and all about love. And I just thought, this is the perfect thing to watch with my baby on the first day when she's inside my body. And I just drove home feeling really happy, really peaceful, really in awe, really amazed, and just so grateful. I just felt that it was going to work. I really did. But I got home and I was now in the 2-week wait. You have to wait for 2 weeks to find out if it worked, if you're actually pregnant. And at that point, I was actually what's known as poopo, pregnant until proven otherwise. And I was pretty sure I was pregnant. I just had a magical feeling about the whole thing. I was pretty sure you were going to stick around. So the next morning, the little dot and I woke up on our very first day together in the same body. And it was quite amazing timing because my housemate, who actually teaches eye gazing, he was running a workshop at our home that day. So I woke up and there's all these beautiful people at our house. And they're all outside looking out at the view. And we just spent the whole day eye gazing and sitting around singing and in deep meditation. And then at one point I actually blurted out that I've just put this embryo inside my body yesterday, and everyone was so moved that they asked me to lie down in the middle of the circle, and they all gave me a sound bath, which is where they did singing sounds all around me, directed to me, and sent love to me and to the baby. So it was a really, really beautiful, magical thing to do on the first day that I had with her inside me. It was really beautiful, and also helped take my mind off the 2-week wait. So the 2-week wait is not the easiest time, you know. It's you really like just on bated breath, waiting to see if the thing worked that you put all this time and money and energy and hope and dreams into. And I know many of you watching have probably been through the 2-week wait many, many times. So I really feel for you. I know you know what it's like. Please share your stories with us in the comment about how you got through the 2-week wait. What were your strategies? Was there anything that helped you? For me, it was just doing beautiful things like this that took my mind off it, made me feel nourished and connected to my community and connected to my heart and connected to my body. That's what I really tried to do during these 2 weeks. Interestingly, that night I went to a going away party for a friend of mine, and there were a couple of people there who knew that I had done this, but nobody else knew. And I felt like I was carrying this magical little secret around with me, because that was you. I was carrying you, the little dot in my tummy. But there actually was a very interesting interaction where I did tell one woman that I'd done this, and she said something that was really upsetting, and it was actually one of the only really upsetting experiences that happened in my entire pregnancy, what she said to me. And I'm actually going to make a video about it because I think you guys will find it interesting what she said to me. So when I make that video, I'll put a link to it up here and I'll put it down in the description box. So the rest of my 2-week wait was pretty uneventful. I just rested. I went to a few gatherings. I work from home, so I just took my work really easily. I didn't push myself at all, but I did make sure I did enough stuff to distract myself, but I still rested. The funniest thing that happened was when I think about day 10 on a Sunday night, I went to a singles gathering and I told one friend there that I had just put an embryo in my body and I was hoping that I was pregnant, and we just laughed so hard because we just thought, imagine if I made an announcement at this event that I just put an embryo in my body, how quickly all the men would just like run out of the room. Obviously I didn't tell anyone. That was the last singles event I've gone to and probably will ever go to for a long, long, long time. And I don't even think about men anymore because I'm just so in love with this little angel face. So during the 2-week wait, I had to do what's called a progesterone pessary every morning and every night, which basically helps keep the lining of your uterus nice and thick and juicy so that the embryo can implant properly. And then you need to keep that going during the first part of your pregnancy if you end up being pregnant. But I was definitely doing it. I was like a military operation every morning, every night. Progesterone pessary. And make sure to share this video with other women you know who are about to undergo IVF or undergo an embryo transfer, so they know stuff like this, so that they can learn all these kind of little details like the progesterone pessary. So in the second week of my 2-week wait, I did feel a little bit of cramping, which made me worry because the previous time I tried IVF a year before, I had some cramping, and of course that ended up not working. The baby didn't stick, so I was a little bit worried it was happening again. But I also knew that it could just be implantation cramps. So I just didn't let it worry me, but it definitely was a little bit nerve-wracking. On day 11 of my 2-week wait, I started obsessively looking up boys' names, which is hilarious given I didn't even know I was pregnant, but I just needed to distract myself. And it's not because I thought I was having a boy, it's because I already had a name I loved for a girl. So I just thought I need to come up with a name for a boy. What if it's a boy? What if it's a boy? What if you had been a boy? I actually spent half my pregnancy looking for boys' names and I never settled on one, so really lucky that you were a girl. But anyway, that's one of the things I did to keep me going through the 2-week wait. Look up boys' names obsessively all day and all night on Google. So on day 12, which was Tuesday, the 20th of April, 2021, I actually woke up early that morning at about 6:30 a.m. to pee, and I just spontaneously decided to do a pregnancy test. I had some lying around, but I had not planned to use them. I was going to wait for the official beta blood test. And I don't know what came over me. I just suddenly thought, I'm going to pee on a stick. I need to pee at 6:30 a.m. day 12. I'm doing it. Spontaneously peed on the stick. And I was really expecting it to come out negative because the previous year I peed on a stick maybe 3 or 4 times, and every time it was negative, negative, negative. So I don't know, in my body memory, I was expecting it to be negative. I got the biggest shock I've ever got in my entire life when I saw those 2 lines and I realized I was pregnant. It was honestly the most amazing thing ever. And I actually, straight after it happened, I picked up my phone and filmed myself in that moment of reaction because I knew that all my friends in my baby village would want to see that moment. And I just cried on the camera. And I'm actually going to share it with you. I've never shown it to anyone outside my baby village, but it's really, really moving. It's really, really moving. And I think it might inspire some of you who hope to one day have this moment. So here's that moment. Oh my God. It's 6:30 in the morning and I just did this test and it's come out as... It looks like it's come out as positive. How is that possible? I was certain that I was not pregnant because I've been getting cramps. And look, there's 2 lines. Oh my God. It's really hard to get a false positive at this point. You could get a false negative, but probably not a false positive. So maybe I actually am pregnant. I can't believe it. Pretty amazing. Pretty moving, isn't it? It was a really amazing moment. And I know those of you who tried lots of rounds of IVF and then you eventually got your baby, you will remember that moment when you saw those 2 lines on the stick. It's something you never forget. I will never forget. And I am really glad that I filmed it because I will show that to her one day when she's older. So then 2 days later, almost exactly a month before I turned 48, I went and I had the official beta blood test to find out if I was pregnant. Massive thing, the beta, because you just never know with home pregnancy tests if they're accurate. So I really, really was waiting for the beta just to be really, really triple sure that it was true. So I got the blood test and then I went for a nice walk to distract myself. I called my sister, I just did whatever I could to distract myself until the result came that night. And I just want to say, if you're someone who's considering going down this path of trying to get pregnant with a donor egg, or if you already have a donor egg baby, subscribe to this channel because I make lots of videos and a lot of them are about what it's like having a double donor baby, what it's like being an older mum, what it's like being a single mum. And make sure to click the little notification bell so you get told every time I upload a new video. I do it once a week. So at 5 p.m. that day, the nurse called and told me the official result. I was actually pregnant. And my HCG levels were looking good, my progesterone levels were looking good, and it was all looking good. And oh my God, I've never been so excited in my life. I called my dad, I called my sister, I called my closest friends, I did a post in my baby village. I was so excited. And then I actually just sat outside and watched the sunset and thought about my mum, my beautiful mum who passed away 2 years earlier. I couldn't call her and tell her the news. I couldn't call her. But I also could really feel her. I could feel her dancing around me. And I could feel her sending me love. And I knew that she was the one who orchestrated this from the other side. She was the one who made this possible. So I sent her a thank you. And that's really how I celebrated that night, by connecting with my mum's spirit and thanking her. So guys, it worked. It worked. This 22-year-old egg, this 24-year-old sperm. My miracle worked. This baby got born. And the whole thing really was very easy and effortless, especially when I compare it to the absolute roller coaster drama of my attempt at IVF the previous year during the lockdowns and with my own eggs and all the nerve-wracking stuff around using older eggs. This was just so much easier. And I know that this miracle was able to happen because I allowed it in. Like, I actually put aside my own lifelong dream of having a baby with a partner and having my own biological child. I put all of that aside. I stepped out of the way and I allowed life to happen. I let go of the vision that I had carried in my mind for all those years and I opened my heart. I realized that this baby wanted to be born a different way. This child wanted to come in through these donors, this sperm, this egg, through this World Egg Bank, through this clinic on the Gold Coast. And I really believe that it was my allowing something that I had never imagined before, that I never even thought was possible, and setting my original dream aside that allowed this miracle to happen. And I'll always be so grateful that I allowed myself to do that. If you have any questions at all about anything I've shared in this 4-part video, about anything to do with eggs or sperm or IVF or anything, please ask me in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them either in a written comment or I'll make a video answering it for you. Always make sure to let me know about your baby journey. I want to support you in it. Let me know where you're at right now in your baby journey. And we are sending you so much love and so much baby dust. Soon I'm going to make a video about my pregnancy. And when I do, I'll put it here. And that's the next video that you should watch because I'm going to share all about what it was like being pregnant at the age of 48 with a donor egg as a single mother by choice. Highly recommend you watch that next to let you know what to expect in your pregnancy. This little baby's almost falling asleep.